Secure.
Why Princess Bride?
I'm a fan.
Why Celine Dion?
I'm a bigger fan.
Why the holidays?
Thought it'd be fun.
Why PG-13?
It's a family movie. Also money. Also Disney.
Why do you think audiences will be stupid enough to swallow this?
Not sure this level of curiosity is cute coming from a middle-aged man strapped to a bed against his will.
Want to untie me?
Not on your f***ing life.
Right before Christmas, a good guy in red is coming to theaters with his new sidekick, Fred.
Why am I here?
So I could read you the story of Deadpool 2, filtered through the prism of childlike innocence.
It's safe for grandmas
I loved your working up.
and approved for teens. For the first time ever, Deadpool's PG-13.
What the f***? The only F-bomb we're using around here is Fred Savage.
Once Upon a Deadpool, rated PG-13, in theaters December 12th.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. We got a whole bunch of new Deadpool, Fred Savageness to break down. I love the way he's ripping into Deadpool. They're using this as a really good opportunity to call Deadpool on a lot of his bullcrap. They also directly call out the Fox Disney deal. Why are you doing this? Because I thought it'd be fun. Also because money. Also because Disney. So we'll do a new round of the giveaway for IMAX gift certificates. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite joke from the trailer on the video. There's a couple other funny clips that they've dropped from this that I'll work in later in the video. There were a couple jokes that they were actually paying off in this from the Deadpool 2 movie that they set up. There was this really weird line of comedy that they went down between the Deadpool and the Colossus characters, where every time he would go back into the realm of death to talk to Vanessa, she would make some funny Colossus joke.
Fuck Elvis.
Oh, for Colossus.
He asks him where he lives. He says he lives with Colossus. That's a reference to that, like, oh, he's living with Colossus now. You could also say that after the events of this movie, he was trying to become part of the X-Men, and maybe because Colossus had accepted his philosophy, like sometimes you do have to do bad things in order to be a good person, that maybe they would allow him to live at the X-Mansion on a very limited basis. But because Vanessa's supposed to be alive now, I think that he would be living with her. But then they double down on the Colossus joke when he asks, do you own or rent? And he replies with spooning, like spooning Colossus. So they're really going for it. But then they go from being more joke answers to being a little more literal and on the nose. Why do you wear the mask? Because I'm ugly. Pretty straight up. That's why they did the Hugh Jackman mask joke at the end of the first Deadpool movie. Because, you won't love me, I'm so hideous. So I'm gonna make myself look like this beautiful Hugh Jackman person. Deadpool loves the Princess Bride movie. He says he's an even bigger fan of Celine Dion. Now that's Ryan Reynolds. Like they wanted to do a very Bond type opening song, so that's why they chose Celine Dion. But I'm sure in real life Ryan Reynolds does like Celine Dion a little bit. But in the comics, Deadpool tends to be inspired by whichever pop musician or rock musician fits the tone of whatever story he's telling, like whatever's really popular. Like he's been inspired by Freddie Mercury before, by AC/DC. He sings and quotes from a lot of lyrics in all of his comic books, so he tends to reference a very wide range of popular musicians. But the funnier fourth wall break is when it's really Ryan Reynolds speaking to us, the audience, on a real subtle level. Like, why are you doing this? Because I thought it'd be fun. It's a family movie. Also money. Also Disney. Sort of backdoor confirming that even though, yes, the original idea for this was to do something that everybody could go see, like they wanted a family movie because a lot of them have young kids that can't go see the R-rated version of Deadpool, that because Disney is who they are, like Disney is Disney, they just make a certain type of content, that they wanted to test the waters to see what would happen if they did a PG-13 Deadpool movie, to prove to Disney, hey, we can do this character within the box of content that you allow people to make. Like, very rarely would you ever see the chance of an R-rated Marvel film, even though Kevin Feige says that they've thought about it. There's just not a really long list of R-rated movies that Disney is chomping at the bit to make. Deadpool would be the exception because it's been R-rated this whole time. But if they're ever going to put him in an Avengers movie, which it sounds like they plan on doing down the road, they're just going to have to bring him into more of the tone of what the Marvel movies are. Even though on a very basic level, you don't have to change anything about what the character does. Instead of making fun of all the X-Men like he does in the Deadpool movies, he'd just be making fun of the Avengers characters. There's a clip of Deadpool trying to stop him short before he drops an F-bomb. This is probably after he first wakes up in the bed. He probably knocks him out, captures him, ties him to the bed, then wakes him up. Then you get that F-bomb moment. They also just dropped another promo where Julian Dennison, Fire Fist, takes some shots at Infinity War, as you would expect them to do.
Once upon a time, there was a Kiwi superstar called Julian Dennison, the star of Deadpool 2, 2018's best superhero film. Nobody died at the end of that one. As much as everybody loved Deadpool 2 though, Ryan Reynolds' obsession with swear words and violence meant that kids under 16, including myself, weren't allowed to see it. Forced to wait and watch it on DVD like a loser. or just miss out altogether. Not cool, man. Not cool. But Santa heard the cries of the children and delivered a present. Once Upon a Deadpool. An M-rated version of Deadpool 2 that the whole family could enjoy. It had more than 20 minutes of new footage, new jokes, and most importantly, me, the true spirit of Christmas.
Nobody died at the end of that one. I would just expect the level of Deadpool MCU references to rise exponentially after this Fox deal goes through. Even though they have a little ways to go before they start making the next Deadpool movie, I hope that they use him for some promos next year because of all the Fox Disney stuff. Like, not necessarily a promo for his movie, but just use Ryan Reynolds to sort of shine a light on what's going on. Like, remember the scene during Deadpool 2 where he's walking around the X Mansion in Professor X's chair when he starts breaking everything, when he puts the Cerebro helmet on? Just cut a promo with Ryan Reynolds doing stuff like that with MCU characters inside the Avengers facility, just making a joke about how he's in the MCU now. If you didn't see it either, there's obviously a lot of Wolverine stuff going on in the background. Every time Ryan Reynolds talks about Deadpool, he also talks about Hugh Jackman and trying to get him to come back. The surprise new announcement that Hugh Jackman made last week that everybody was curious about ended up being a solo tour that he's going on. Unfortunately, as expected, it has nothing to do with Marvel or coming back to be the character or anything like that. Right now, it just seems like based on what he said, Hugh Jackman will only come back for very brief cameos of Wolverine stuff, and then maybe only on a limited basis, and definitely not in the very near-term future. So like if he does do a Deadpool 3 cameo, then we won't find out about it till late next year. The actual movie, Once Upon a Deadpool, is coming out next week. I think I'm allowed to post my review on Wednesday, so I'll try to figure out what the schedule for that's going to be. Like Julian Dennison said in that promo, there'll be more than 20 minutes of new footage, so I will do an Easter egg video, new post-credit scenes, anything that they attach to it. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I'll be seeing it in the next couple of days. Most of that new 20 minutes of footage that Fire Fist mentions is probably a combination of the Fred Savage scenes with him just ripping into Deadpool and calling him on all his crap, or alternate takes that we didn't see during the movie or during the super duper cut that they released on home video, where he's making the up joke about the old woman potentially dying. Don't get too attached. There were actually a number of deleted post-credit scenes, like a couple of alternate X-Force scenes with like an alternate team at the end of the movie that they said that they dropped, so who knows if they'll ever work that into any of the releases. But because of what they're doing with The Princess Bride and cutting out some of the more WTF graphic stuff, I'm hoping that they altered some of the post-credit scenes as well, so maybe we'll get a new post-credit scene. Speaking of which, there's also a whole bunch of Venom Blu-ray deleted scenes and post-credits and all that stuff dropping next week, so I will be doing videos for that, but obviously that'll all be separate stuff. So I'll remind everybody about all the reviews posting next week, because I also think I'm allowed to post my non-spoilery Aquaman review next week too. Don't forget, we have an Avengers 4 trailer coming up and a Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. Just